Hello and welcome to another episode of UA Overtime. I'm Joe. I'll be your host today. I'm here with Megan, Carl, and Dylan. First things first, we're going to talk about the Yankees. We're going to talk about what went wrong, in your opinion. First things first, Carl, what do you think?
You know, the Yankees, they didn't score enough runs. You know, they only had 6 runs in 4 games in this postseason. You know, Detroit's pitching was incredible. They had a .66 ERA, the second lowest in any postseason series in baseball history. And you know, the Yankees, they never had a lead. They never had a lead, and they never were able to, you know, do what they're known for doing, is hitting, and that came to backfire them.
All right, I'm going to go with, like, the starting pitchers did really well, but as soon as the relievers came in, the Yankees kind of fell off a little bit. I think pitching, they need to improve, you know, next year, and also with their star players, A-Rod, Teixeira, you know, Swisher, they didn't do anything for the offense, so also that's another problem.
All right, Dylan?
You can commend the Detroit starting pitching, but it really comes down to the Yankees did not hit. A-Rod, what was he? He was 125. Cano had a 29 at-bat hitless streak. Granderson was terrible, had 16 Ks. He was either a strikeout or the 1 home run he hit, and he's supposed to be the power hitter. Swisher was, like always, he was terrible. They just did not score. They hit 188 all postseason, and 196 was runners in scoring position. You can credit Verlander was great, Scherzer looked good, but really when a team's not hitting, they're not going to score. And the Yankees' pitching was awesome. If you told me coming into this playoffs that their pitching staff was going to be so good, I would think they were going to win it all. They had a 2.67 ERA, the whole staffs. Other than Sabathia yesterday, they all pitched good. And with a year where the pitching's so good, they should have won, and the offense was just pathetic.
It was the lowest batting average they've ever had in a postseason series.
First time they got swept in, what, 32 years, I think it was?
I was actually everything that you guys said is incredibly right. Everything, just if you would have told everybody in the beginning that Yankees pitching is going to be as good as it is, with the Yankees offense and how traditional we are when it comes to a great hitting team, you would have said we would have swept Baltimore and Detroit and would have breezed to the World Series championship. It's frustrating, it really is. Half the time when the team got up there, they looked like freshmen in high school on the varsity team. They just looked overwhelmed, didn't have any confidence. You have players now talking about how they were disheartened by the Yankees fans booing them. You guys are professionals. You cannot be upset that the Yankees fans were booing you.
You don't want to get booed. You don't want to get booed. Play good. Play well.
Yeah.
And you're playing.
You can't even, you have to commend the fans for booing you. You know, like Yankees fans are obnoxious. You should know this.
Yeah, you're playing in New York. You're expected to win. You know.
All right, next thing we're going to talk about A-Rod. Where do you guys see A-Rod in the offseason? Is he staying as a Yankee? Is he moving? What do you got, Carl?
I think he's staying. You know, he's been talking to the media after yesterday's loss. You know, he's been saying he's planning on staying. He wants to stay in New York, and he wants to focus on his game more. Try and play the way he knows he's able to play. And I think that the Yankees will keep him. You know, he's still an asset to them. I know he's been struggling a lot, but he's one of the best hitters of all time. And I know maybe he's struggling, but he's A-Rod. He's like 5th in home runs. You know, he's gonna stay.
He'll be back. All right, what do you got?
All right, I think he's gonna stay. You know, Brian Cashman, he did shut down all the rumors with Seattle, but he needs to step it up. Like if he wants to stay with the Yankees after this next year. You know, I don't see him doing well next year. I think that he's going to crack like he did in this postseason. He does it all the time, but, you know, I think he'll stay a Yankee.
All right, Dylan?
I think they're going to try their hardest to get rid of him. Brian Cashman does not want A-Rod on this team. The contract's ridiculous, but who's going to take $114 million? If they trade him, they're going to have to pay $100 million to whoever takes him. I'm talking about the Marlins or whatever. And they're going to spend $100 million to get rid of him, and then they're going to have to pay for another third baseman. And the Yankees' goal right now is to get under the salary cap. And paying 2 third basemen pretty much is not going to work. And who are they going to replace with? Eric Chavez or Eduardo Nunez? Eric Chavez didn't get a hit all the postseason. He was terrible. He wasn't a good replacement. And Nunez can't play third base every day. He's not a good defender. So if it comes down to if they can get a solid third baseman and replace him, do whatever you can to trade him. But until then, you're going to have to keep A-Rod and roll with him. That's what it comes down to.
I completely agree. I, as a Yankee fan, don't want to see A-Rod back. I feel like the Yankees don't want to see him back either. It seemed like they were doing everything they could to embarrass him this postseason, and he was doing everything to earn the embarrassment.
Yeah.
He's playing around in the dugout, saying hi, Mom, when he's in there joking around, throwing balls into the fans, the girls during the playoffs. It's just unbelievable. He's acting like a child. He seriously is just not mentally strong enough to be in New York. He lets the fans mess with his head too much. I don't want to see him back, but everything you guys said with the money situation, it's really not looking good. And not to mention, he has a no-trade clause, so if he wants to if the Yankees want to trade him, he's going to have to sign off on it, and he doesn't want to leave New York.
He's not going to accept a trade to like the Royals or a team like that. He wants to be in the big spotlight, and he's not going to leave New York.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
All right. Next, we're going to go to the World Series. We have the Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants. That series is pretty much wrapped up right now, so we're going to assume that the Cardinals are going to win. So who would we say right now, Carl, would you say in the World Series? You got the Tigers or the Cardinals?
I got the Cardinals. You know, they come up clutch in the postseason when it matters the most. They're like the Giants of baseball. They know how to win in the postseason, and I say that the Tigers should really watch out for them because, you know, they can hit. And last year with Freeze and this year with Cosma, they know when to get those runs. We've seen it before, and I guarantee you we'll see it again come next week.
All right, I think Prince Fielder, you know, Melky Cabrera, and Justin Verlander, I think the Detroit Tigers are going to win over the Cardinals.
Okay. So?
I think I'm going to take the Cardinals. They know how to win in October. That's what it comes down to. Unlike the Yankees, they come up with the big hits. They're not afraid of the big spot, and I think they'll get it done. It's a rematch of 2006 World Series. Cardinals won then. I think they'll win again.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to take the Tigers. The only reason, I think they're really riding high right now after sweeping the Yankees. Nobody thought that was going to happen. You got Verlander. If he pitches 2 games, that's 2 automatic wins right there. I like the lineup of Fielder, Cabrera, and Delman Young. They have the nice little center there. So I like to see the Tigers win, have an AL team take it home. But that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. So we're going to come back next quarter. We're going to talk about college football. Stay tuned.
I wanna get freaky with you. Baby, don't you understand? I wanna be an estimate. I wanna make your body scream. Then you will know just what I mean. 24 karat gold.
Welcome back. Our second quarter debate is going to be about college football. We got a good weekend coming up, a lot of top 25 matchups. The first matchup we're going to talk about is number 7, South Carolina, at number 2, Florida. What do you got, Dylan?
First off, I think Marcus Lattimore is definitely going to play. I know there's rumors his hips hurt. Spurrier said he might not play, but he's definitely going to be out there. That being said, though, I'm going to go with the Gators. I think Muschamp's got a great team this year. They're undefeated. I think they stay undefeated.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to agree with him. I think the Gators are going to win. Jeff Driscoll, 3 touchdown passes last week. South Carolina, the flu has went through their whole roster. So I think the Gators are going to stomp on them.
All right, Carl?
Yep, I'm going with the Gators too. You know, they're a physical team. It's tough for Spurrier's Gamecocks to play 2 SEC powerhouses like LSU and Florida back-to-back, and I don't see them winning that game.
Okay. Agreed. I'm going to make it a sweep. I'm going to go with Florida, too. Marcus Lattimore, even if he's banged up a bit, he's the entire team. And if he's not playing 100%, I don't see Connor Shark being able to carry that team in a hard place to play at Florida. The Swamp is not an easy place to go into and grab a win. So I'm going to go with Florida this week, so we'll see what happens. Our second matchup is going to be LSU and Texas A&M. It's number 6 at number 18. What do you got, Dylan?
I'm going to actually take the redshirt freshman, Johnny Manziel. I think Texas A&M is going to be able to pull up the upset. LSU's got a great defense, but I think Manziel, he's put up over 500 yards twice this season, including last week. He's just a freak athlete. He's great, and I think they're going to be able to upset the really good LSU defense.
All right.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm definitely going to go with Texas A&M on this one. Johnny Manziel, great season, 500 yards. I'm going to agree with you on that. And also, you know, LSU, their defense is ranked 2nd nationally, so it's going to be a good matchup with a strong defense and an explosive offense. So I'm also going to take Texas A&M.
All right. Carl?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with LSU, but basically it's explosive offense versus stellar defense. And if LSU can't contain Johnny Football, then they're going to have a problem. But if they can, I see LSU winning this game.
All right, I'm going to go with LSU as well. I just don't see Texas A&M having enough weapons. Johnny Manziel is a great player, and I do see him maybe one day winning the Heisman. They're talking about him this year, and he's only a redshirt freshman, so that's great. That's great for him. He's a good player, but LSU's defense, 2nd in the country right now. I don't think Johnny Manziel's ever seen a defense like he's going to face on Saturday.
I don't necessarily think they're going to score 50 points, but I think they're not going to be able to contain him to the point where they can outscore him.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to come down. I think A&M's going to be able to
It's going to be a close game, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't see a shootout, but I like LSU's defense. I don't think he's ever came up against anything like this. I think he's going to be a little shocked at first. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he is a great player, and I don't take anything away from him. That team's a good team.
Yeah.
So, and Texas A&M also is not an easy place to play. The 12th man there. They have great fans.
Yeah.
Our third matchup is going to be number 4, Kansas State, at number 3, West Virginia. What do you got, Dylan?
First off, West Virginia's defense is atrocious. They're getting blown out. They're allowing a lot of points every week, and I think it's going to be the same this week. Colin Klein, Kansas State quarterback, he's going to have a good week. He's in the Heisman race. But that being said, it's going to be a shootout. I think Geno Smith bounces back. He has a big week, and I think West Virginia's able to get the win.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be close with Geno Smith and Colin Klein. Colin Klein's had 7 touchdown passes with only 2 interceptions. You know, I really think it's going to be a close matchup. But Kansas State will have this one number 4.
Yeah, I'm expecting a shootout. I expect West Virginia to bounce back as well. Geno Smith, he did not look like a Heisman Trophy winner last week against Texas Tech, but I think he'll bounce back this week, and I expect a really high-scoring game. But Geno Smith, he'll get it done.
All right, I think we all agree it's definitely going to be a shootout. Both teams are averaging over 40 points. These are the top two in the Heisman race right now. Everyone's talking about Con Klein and Geno Smith. Both great quarterbacks, very different as they are both great. You got Geno Smith, traditional pocket passer with a great arm. Con Klein, more the Tim Tebow slasher. He can run and throw. I do like West Virginia. I don't see them losing 2 games in a row. They're playing at home, so I'm going to go with Geno Smith and the Mountaineers to take that. We're going to come back. This will be halftime. Come back in the third quarter and talk about the NFL. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Our third quarter debate is going to be based on the NFL. We got some good matchups this weekend. We're going to do a little bit of pick 'em. So the first matchup is the Jets versus Pats. What do you got, Carl?
I'm picking the Patriots in this one. You know, it's a big game for both New York and New England. The Jets need to show that their quarterback, Mark Sanchez, is consistent enough to win week by week. They won last week against Indianapolis, but, you know, they're not as good as New England. I see New England winning this game easily at home.
All right.
All right. I think it's comical that Rex Ryan is very confident right now in his team. The Pats have outscored their team 112-40 in the last few matchups. And Sanchez, he's very inconsistent. It's not going to be a good game for the Jets. Pats are going to win.
All right.
Jets fans need to relax. You guys looked good last week. Sanchez looked all right, but you were against the Colts. The Colts were 1-15 last year, and they still have a rookie quarterback in Andrew Luck. And Sanchez is still Sanchez. And this week, he's going to be the old Mark Sanchez. And it's in New England. There's no way Brady and Belichick are letting this team go back under 500. And the 3 losses the Pats have this year are by a combined 4 points. So it's not like they've never gotten blown out. They lost on a close field goal against the Ravens, a missed field goal against the Cardinals, and the Seattle game was really close. They're better than what their record says they are, and I think they're just going to roll through New York.
All right, I agree with everything that everybody said, but nobody hates the Jets more than I do, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the Jets are going to win here. Everything points against the Jets winning, and I think that's the only thing they have going for them. If they can rally around the fact that nobody thinks they're going to win, they're tied for first in the division with the entire division at 3-3 right now. They know this is a huge game. If the Jets can convince themselves that they're good enough to walk in to Foxborough and beat the Pats, it's going to be a big statement for that Jets
team.
team.
Revis?
Yeah.
How are they stopping those offenses?
They got nobody on that team. I'm just saying, if they can rally around the fact that they're the underdog and nobody believes in them, and they can somehow pull this off, that'll be the biggest win for Rex Ryan in his career. That'll be huge.
Definitely blow a lot of people's minds, no doubt.
Since the AFC East is so close right now, everyone's 3-3.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals were able to do it, so why can't the Jets?
We'll see what happens. I mean, that's a big rivalry. They don't like each other. You never know. Rivalry games go any which way. So I'm going to pick the Jets, go out on a limb. That'll be my upset for the week, and we'll see. So next we're going to go with the Cards-Vikes. Both teams are 4-2. Both teams are huge surprises. Nobody would have thought this in the preseason. So right now we got Cards-Vikes. Who you got, Carl?
I got the Vikings. You know, they're home with their running attack with Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin as a deep threat. I don't see the Vikings. I don't see the Cardinals stopping them. The Vikings, they have a good defense, and the Cardinals have a good one too. But with all the momentum the Vikings get at home with Christian Ponder, and you're just playing well now, I don't see the Cardinals beating them, and I see the Vikings winning.
All right, I'm gonna agree. The Vikings are gonna, pull off the 4-0 at home, and also throw a little history out there for you. Not since 1977 the Cardinals have won against the Vikings, so this will be pretty cool.
All right.
I'm going to continue picking the Vikings. They're like she said, they're 3-0 at home. They haven't lost, and the Cardinals' offensive line is terrible. They've given up the most sacks in the league, 28, and Jared Allen's going to be all over Skelton, who's replacing Cobb this week. It's just I think the Vikings are going to be able to win.
All right, I'm going to make it a clean sweep. I like the Vikings as well. They're playing at home. You got Christian Ponder is not a great quarterback, but he's doing just enough to get by. He's not throwing interceptions. He's taking care of the ball, which is most important for a young quarterback to do. He has a great defense. He's at home, and he has a great running game in Adrian Peterson. If he could rely on his defense and the running game, I like them to beat the Cardinals. I do like the Vikings defense. John Skelton's an inexperienced guy. They're going to mess with his head.
A great matchup in this game is Patrick Peterson guarding Percy Harvin.
Oh, yeah.
Percy Harvin's healthy now, and he's killing. He's one of the most explosive players in the league.
They played each other too because they were both in the SEC.
Yeah, that's going to be a great
players.
matchup.
That's going to be a great matchup for years to come. So we're going to come back in the fourth quarter. We're going to talk about some more NFL. So stay tuned. Welcome back to our fourth quarter debate. We're talking about the Ravens. It's a team right now atop the AFC at 5-1. But last week they faced a lot of injuries. Their team, they have a lot of good players going down. So we're going to see how that affects them. Megan, what do you think?
All right, Ray Lewis, heart and soul of their team, no doubt. It's going to have a big effect on their team. He's the heart of their defensive line. Also, Ed Reed trying to play through an injury. He has 24 tackles and 2 interceptions in the last 6 games. That's huge. You know, I think that it's also both these players are going to have an impact on their teams.
All right, Carl?
Yeah, it's really a crushing blow for the Ravens to lose Ray Lewis. I mean, he's not only a good player, but he's their team leader. And without him, you know, the Ravens will struggle. And I think that they need to rebound and realize that, you know, they're a good team without him too. So without Ray Lewis there, it's going to be hard for them, but he'll be there on the sidelines. He'll be prepping them up and stuff. So it won't be as bad as I think everyone thinks it will be.
Right.
The Ravens defense is facing a whole new situation right now. They haven't been missing Ray Lewis in like over a decade.
Yeah.
He's been with that team. He's the leader. He's there every Sunday. It's the heart, like they said, the heart and soul, and that's a big loss. But the Ladarius Webb injury, tearing his ACL, is a huge deal. He's one of the best corners in the league, and as a player-wise, he's better right now than Ray Lewis is as a player. He's more important to that defense because in the AFC, when they play like the Patriots, he's the one that locks down the wide receivers. And behind Haloti Ngata, I think he's the second best player on that defense. And also Terrell Suggs, he got activated off the PUP this week, but he's not going to be back for a couple more weeks. So the defense right now is in shambles, and they're going to have to figure it out to stay. They're 5-1. They're going to figure it out and keep it up. They got a lot to work on.
Yeah.
I completely agree. The Ray Lewis injury is huge. Not only is he the heart and soul of the defense and the team, he is the defensive leader when it comes to making the calls. The middle linebacker on a team is very important. He's the quarterback of the defense. He's going to make all the calls. It's going to be a big adjustment. Like you said, Ladarius Webb is huge. You lose your starting corner in a team now, in a league now that's all pass happy. You got teams throwing 50 passes a game, and you're going to lose your best starting corner. That's a big problem for them. I do see that affecting them.
Absolutely.
That being said, this week they're playing the Texans, another team being faced by injuries. They're both 5-1. This is going to be a marquee matchup for the weekend. What do you think, Megan?
All right, well, first of all, the Ravens have never lost to the Texans, but I see a little different this week. You know, I think the Texans, although they have injuries, so do the Ravens, but the Texans, I think, will show they're a little bit more superior this week.
All right, Carl?
I'm picking the Texans, but I'm not impressed. You know, last week they gave up 42 points to Green Bay. Green Bay actually, you know, proved themselves, but both these defenses have struggled in the past, and the Ravens, they've given up 481 yards to Dallas last week. I'm going to pick the Texans, but, you know, it's by a slim margin.
Okay,
I'm going to go with the Ravens in this. I know the defense is a mess right now, but so is the Texans defense. They got lit up by the Packers last week, and they lost Brian Cushing 2 weeks ago, and he's the captain of that defense. He calls the plays. He's the Ray Lewis of that team. I know they have J.J. Watt, who's a freak, but their defense is not as good as it looked in the beginning of the season. So I'm going to go, I think Ray Rice is going to have a big game. Flacco's going to throw it all over the place. Torrey Smith's going to have a big game. I think the Ravens offense is able to make up for the lack of defense.
Okay, I agree. I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I think they're going to rally around the fact they lost Ray Lewis. Everybody talks about them like they're done now. I do think this is going to have a big problem when it comes to their Super Bowl hopes. This week, I could see them beating the Texans, but with all their injuries they're facing, it really could have effect on their, like a damper on their Super Bowl chances.
The AFC is wide open.
Wide
right
open.
now. Wide open. The Pats, they're 3-3, but they're a really superior team, and Texans, they're falling off. The Ravens falling off. The AFC is open.
Whoever really
anyone
pulls out in this week, I think will have a good shot at going through.
Do you
Absolutely.
think the winner of this week will be the AFC favorite?
I don't think so, just because their defenses are a mess right now. The Ravens, they have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And same with the Texans. I don't think there's a favorite now. In the AFC.
I think New England will come.
I
up
think
in
New
there
England's going to
at
win the
end, yeah.
AFC. I think so too.
One thing, even talking about the NFL as a whole, every week you find out either a team is bad, not as good as we thought they were, they're great. It's been a really up and down season. We don't know who like the big contenders are. I mean, you know the couple good teams that have all the talent, but every time you think somebody is superior, they get blown out by a team that they don't belong.
Very
losing
up
to.
and down this year.
Very up and down.
Just
this
look
year.
at the AFC. Look at the AFC East. Every team is 3-3. I mean, the Bills
When does
are 3-3.
that ever happen?
Yeah.
Right?
It's been a while, so it should be an
Yeah.
interesting rest of the season. Stay tuned with us. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Lance Armstrong in our overtime segment.
Looking for somebody.
Welcome back to our overtime segment. Right now we're going to be talking about Lance Armstrong. This week, Nike dropped him officially as one of their sponsors, and he had to step down from Livestrong as their president. There's a bunch going on right now. There's a case from the anti-doping agency saying that he has been cheating, and there's a bunch of people that filed complaints about it, and they've made statements, and it seems like his career is really falling apart right now. So do you guys think that was well-deserved? What do you think, Carl?
Yeah, I think it is well-deserved. He lied to people. He cheated. You know, if I was Nike, I would drop him too right away, because you can't sponsor someone like that. People are gonna look at you the wrong way, and Nike's a big company. They don't deserve something like that. So I understand them dropping him. And honestly, you know, Lance Armstrong, me as a kid, I always looked up to him, and now it's like, you know, it's like the same thing with Tiger Woods. You just look at them, and then now they mess up, and I don't know what he's gonna do in the future.
All right,
Yeah, I think Lance Armstrong, he should be ashamed of himself. Like Carl said, so many people have looked up to him. Look what he started. You know, everyone wears those Livestrong bands, and I'm absolutely not shocked that Nike dropped him at all. So I think he deserves what he got.
All right,
When it comes to these types of controversies, the sponsors have to distance themselves from the athlete. We saw this with Vic when he first got the whole dogfighting thing. Nike dropped him. They eventually picked him back up, but they dropped him. Nike had to do this. You have to distance yourself from the controversy. Regarding Livestrong, I think Lance Armstrong made the right choice stepping down, because Livestrong isn't about Lance Armstrong. It's about fighting cancer, and he shouldn't just be the connected symbol of Livestrong. It's about fighting cancer, and he made the right choice stepping down. He had to do that.
All right, I completely agree with everything you guys said. Nike definitely has to distance themselves from him. He's got a lot of negative publicity going on. For one thing, though, I don't want to take away anything he did as a cancer survivor. He beat cancer. He has raised millions of dollars for cancer research. That's all positive, absolutely positive. It bothers me that he himself was a symbol, a role model, and he was cheating. He came out and said that he would never cheat. He never did. You guys could test him up and down. And it comes out that he was the head of the biggest blood doping ring that known to man. They said everybody was in on it. It's disheartening.
It's come out that cycling is one of the dirtiest sports in the world. Like, everyone's doped. All the Tour de France winners, like, they all come out, like, they get caught.
Well, you had to know when 1 through 10 ranked cyclists in the world and 2 through 10 have been caught blood doping and cheating and using PEDs. There's no way that Lance Armstrong was beating them when they were cheating and he wasn't. I mean, you had to know it, but it's unfortunate that it comes out now. It just looks bad for everybody. It's an unfortunate thing for, you know, just the entire sport and for Lance Armstrong as a whole. I don't know where he goes from here.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
He's got to disappear for a couple years.
He's got to go
get out of the public light.
Yeah.
Can maybe come back in a couple more years and
Write
tell the truth, write a book or
Yeah,
something.
write a
But
book and
for now, he needs
apologize.
to he's doing the right thing, distancing himself from Livestrong. And
I think that
just
he
getting out of the
definitely
light.
needs to show that he needs to have a press conference and say that he's sorry to all the people that looked up to him.
Show
but
some remorse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
definitely think that would be the right thing to do.
And in a couple years, he's still going to be regarded as the best cyclist ever.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is, I don't see how you change from being so looked up to, and now everybody is so disappointed with him. It's going to be so hard for him just to go out in public. People are going to look at him with such disgrace because.
But the thing is, Livestrong's profits have increased since all this happened, so people are rallying behind him. Their profits have increased, so it's still.
Yeah,
I think
have my
this
own
is just a
Livestrong.
tragedy we see in all sports. You know, it happens.
They're human.
They're
They're not
human,
perfect.
yeah,
They're
they're
not
human.
perfect.
Yep. All right, that's it for that debate. We're going to go right into our final thoughts here. Carl, what do you got for us?
All right, so my big G-men, we got a big win last week, 26-3 in San Fran. This is my big thought. I think the Giants, they have to consistently win. They can't win and lose week to week. They have to go home. They have to beat Washington. They have to win a divisional game. And I think that it's important for them to show that they're a true contender in the NFL. They have to win. And Eli, you know, he's carrying the Giants right now. And I think that it's going to help them. It's going to help them in the playoffs.
All right.
All right, mine's a little short and sweet. Last night, Arizona State got killed by Oregon. Throwing a little thing out there in Oregon versus Alabama. That's why I see the national championship. There you go.
All right.
I'm going to talk about back to the Yankees. The offseason's coming up. For them, at least, they got to make some moves. They got to bring Kuroda back. And I got 4 words. Peace out, Nick Swisher.
True. All right, my final thought's going to be on LeBron, somebody I'm not too high on. I hear on ESPN today they're talking about in 2 years when his contract is at Miami that they could see him going to L.A. to team up with Dwight Howard. If he leaves another team to team up with another superstar to get some rings, I will absolutely be done with him. I can't believe that he did it in the first place, but I do understand where he's coming from. If he leaves Miami and does it again to go to LA to ride the back of another great team and team up with a bunch of other superstars, I will absolutely be done, and that will kill his legacy. I hope that he does not do that.
Stay in Miami and win. You're winning.
Yeah,
seriously.
Build yourself. You know, build your own legacy.
Yep.
Keep following other people's. Like,
for sure.
Seriously.
For sure. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's going to be our episode. We'll see you next week.
You got it. You got it. It's going to be east, right, fluff. V right, all the way outside. Y left. Fake. 396 bag. V hands. C puck. Is that long enough for